Good evening. I am continuing with the cards I drew on the 15th. I just wasn't into doing anything with them yesterday. And since I am doing a study thing, dang it, my throat. I actually got some things jotted down in my notebook, but I didn't. And part of this is reading everything, so here I go. Karma was in spirit. Mirror card, justice. Karma is universal justice. It can never be controlled and will always restore the balance in all things. It is at the core of why we are brought together with people in our lives. Karma is like a complex knot you are trying to undo. We all start with an unknotted string, and as life goes on, we have more karmic debt to untie. Karma brings clarity and truth through cause and effect. It is invisible to the naked eye, but is what tips the scales and what morphs universal coincidences into cosmic enlightenment. And upright meaning, honesty, restoring balance, ultimate truth. Presence, challenging. Karma is a card that asks for brutal honesty. It is easy to convince yourself that you have not wronged, but we all have. It is a part of being human. Don't be afraid to try and mend broken relationships. The actions you take now will ripple far into the future. On the other side of it, you will feel you have been, if you feel you have been wronged, karma will eventually restore balance. In the end, it is always the ultimate truth that is rewarded in kind. Be truthful with yourself. Others will be truthful with you. Reverse meaning. Now, it kind of depends on where, well, it depends on where the card falls, whether I read it as a, negative or positive. Dishonesty, accountability, denial. Presence, challenging. Reversed karma can be a challenging card to see in a reading. We have all done things before that we hope won't come back one day later. But if they don't come back in this life, they will find their way in another. The denial you are facing will continue to follow you until you confront it. This card shows up when you need to take accountability for your actions. It asks you to change your ways, face the things you have approached wrongfully, and look for a way to fix them. When you fill the world with things like love and kindness, it will slowly change your life. And next we have 3 of lotuses. Tree, spirits, lotuses, 9. Whoop. 3 of lotuses. Oh, might have pushed that too far. Mirror card, Three of Chalices. That makes sense. The opalescent seaside temple glows in the afternoon sun. It appears to you like something out of a fairy tale. It looks unreal and impeccably explicably magical. Blah. Three friends pirouette outside towards the glaring sun as three boats pass by in front of the temple in beautiful synchronicity. In front of you, three lotuses dancing in gleeful harmony. The world is aligned for a single wondrous second. Upright meaning, coexistence, synchronicity, alignment, presence, uplifting. If there was a card about natural synchronicity, this is it. In a reading, this can represent universal alignment with your surroundings, like a symphony, each part unfolding in harmonious beauty. Rejoice in the presence of this card. It finds the best in coexistence with your surroundings. If you do not feel it already, look for it. It is there. It is when we are in need of a little luck or beauty that it shows up in the most unusual places. Reversed meaning, outcast, neglect, isolation, presence, challenging. There is a reverse side to coexistence that can lead to feelings of isolation. Sometimes it may feel like you are on the outskirts looking in, and all you want to do is fit in. This has led to changing yourself even though you were happy with who you already were. It's never too late to be true to yourself. The isolation that you might be afraid of from feeling like an outcast will fill you more than the falsities of fitting in. Blah. Six of Birds. Six of Birds. 6 fighter planes sweep through the valley, quickly advancing towards their target. But for one plane, this is the last flight. It's leaking fuel and spiraling downwards when suddenly a sharp wind shifts and launches the plane directly into the purple valley. Perhaps the pilot will be lucky enough for a water landing, but that is now up to fate. Mirror card, 6 of Swords. Upright meaning, out of control, leaving behind, moving on. Presence, challenging. The wind plays no helping hand in this card. Rather, it is the reaper for the pilot. This can be a heavy card to have in your spread. It doesn't speak kindly to favor, and instead suggests that sometimes your own fate is simply out of your control. When you find yourself in an uncontrollable situation, try to move through the transition with as much composure as you can. Trust that the universe will work things out. Reverse meaning, holding back, avoiding your future, self-sabotage. Presence, challenging. Upside down, the small plane attempts to avoid its fate, but here it loses the opportunity of a safe water landing and heads right into the mountains. Right into the mountain range. When this card shows up, it may be because there are some unresolved issues holding you back from transitioning onwards. Don't let the mental baggage keep you from finding your next big journey. The option to move on is there. You just need to grant it passage into your mind. This is, of course, easier said than done. But if you can give into the force of the wind and go with the flow, you may find that things will unfold as they need to. 6 of birds and 3 of birds. Mirror card, the 3 of swords. Pummeling from the sky, a triad of white doves falls to the snowy ground below. 3 red arrows straight to the heart. These poor doves never stood a chance at survival. Predator nowhere to be found, leaving only the wind as a witness to the doves' demise. For what purpose did these creatures have to give their lives? Upright meaning, heartbreak, suffering, grief. Presence, challenging. The 3 birds is a heartbreaking card that sends the mind for a spin. If you are the slain dove, you likely don't stand a chance. It speaks of an unfair advantage of the opposing party, that for no noticeable payoff other than self-enjoyment. If you are the predator, your slight actions have catapulted a life into turmoil. You must ask yourself if that move was even yours to make. If you are feeling guilty about something, try and approach the situation to see if you can resolve it on better terms, so you may clear your mind. Reverse meaning, recovery, forgiveness, moving on. Presence, neutral. Reversed, we see the 3 doves float back into the sky, return from where they came. When this card shows up reversed, it symbolizes a sense of remorse. Perhaps you have wronged someone, or you have been wronged. Forgiveness is what is in order to move on from it. Know that it will be enough one day to heal the festering wound. And the 7 of birds. There were a bunch of birds in this reading, weren't there? Oops, 8, 7 of birds. Mirror card, 7 of swords. A flock of seagulls flap their wings in formation above the mountainous terrain. With the wind as a guide, they journey as a single unit, bound for something new. Beneath them, a river runs through the valley, dipping behind the snowy mountains, then reappearing moments later. Does moments later mean over here? I guess so, because I don't see it. I see it there. Is it? Yeah, no. Yes. Upright meaning, obstacle, tactics, strategy. Presence, neutral. Only the brave would dare to cross this treacherous terrain. When this card shows up, it is a placeholder for a strategy you must soon devise. Some rocky roads may be approaching, and it is ill-advised to approach haphazardly. Instead, you will need to learn from the birds in order to plan accordingly. Do so and you will make it to the other side with much ease. A carefully thought out maneuver will catapult you much further than approaching with haste. Reversed meaning. Old patterns. Rethinking approach. Perspectives. Presence neutral. The upside down flock is presented in the shape of the mountain they fly over. The flock mirrors the landscape and offers a new view on a repeating pattern. When this card appears reversed, it suggests that you should rethink your approach. You may have your mind set on the solution, but just because it has worked in your favor in the past doesn't mean it will pan out again. Patterns only stay patterns until they are broken. And I like what I wrote already there, so we will leave that as it is. And say goodnight, and I will move this out of the way so you can have one more view. And I'm going to say toodles. Stay safe, everybody. Peace. Love you all.